Okay, we're back. Alright, so now I gotta do this cam chest a little bit. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna plug up the end of the crank hole here. So we had these set screws laying over here purposely so I wouldn't lose them. So those go into the end of the crank here, they double up on them. So it has a side oil feed on this thing, through that hole right there. And this plugs up the end of the crank so that it will not have oil coming out of this end. It goes in the crank and through the motor. So these are both solid. This one is cut short. This one's not. This one goes in first. Then I jam this one on top of that one. So it jams it all together. You can see how this has been shortened up. So the stack height is the correct height. This did not come with a taper in there. I cut that taper in there so I could true the crank. V-twin, for some reason, doesn't understand how you put a motor together. So their shitty ass shaft there was not made anywhere near correct, which we showed in previous videos. So there you go. So we're going to use a 1 wrench here. Get the one that's not ground on. Okay, that's the one that's going to go in there. Okay, you go until it starts to bottom out, and then you hold it and tighten it pretty good. Now, one thing about Allen wrenches, you can tell what the torque is by how much the wrench is bending. So when you see it bending quite a bit like that, you know you got the correct torque on it. See, that's how much flex I have right there. That's all flex. That tells you got the proper torque. Now this is a little short one. It goes on top of that one. And this jams it in there. I'm also going to take some 260 capillary oxygen here, or 290. I'm going to put that on the thread also. That'll seal it up and Loctite it. Same thing, if you're bending the wrench, it's torqued. And it's got the Loctite on there, we'll let that set up. So it's triple sealed now. The first set screw is bottomed out in the crank hard. We put Loctite in there, then we put the second one and jammed it hard against the first one. So it's bottomed out locked, it's jammed locked, and it's Loctited. So it's three different seals, three different things locking it in there. Because you don't want that to come out. That would be a bad thing. Alright, so that part's done. Okay, this is the seal that goes down over this, seals up the crankcase. So that slides in there. Put a little lube on that. That is a rubbing surface, so make sure you got lube on it. You gotta find where it slides down the spline easily. Right there it goes. So that's the part where it slid down, so it slides down without. Okay. So that seals the crank case. So now this cavity is sealed from this cavity because that's a seal. Now later on they decided they didn't need that, so they left it out. But on these early motors, it goes in there. It's also a spacer that brings all the gears out to where it needs to be, so you do need to have it in there. Okay, then you have a spring and a spacer. You have a gear, and somewhere we got the cam drive gear. Where's the cam drive gear? There it is on the device. That one. So those three things go in there. So these all go together in here like this. So this slides on down, then this goes on top of it, and then this gear goes on top of that gear. Now I'm going to have to heat this up to put this on, so it's going to be kind of a pain. So the problem is I got to get the oil pump gear in here also. You know, I don't like having to fight around this gear to put that gear on it, but in this case this gear does not slide on very easily, so it's kind of a pain. So I'm going to leave this off for right now. I'm going to leave this off for now. This gear will just slide up on here. Now you got one fat spline and the rest are skinny, so you have to line it up so it goes correctly. That slides in and out. And like I said, that will engage with the oil pump drive gear, which is this one. And I can do it. So I'm going to leave it like this because it's easier to put the gear on now than later. So we're going to leave it off for now. Now this one I can leave off also right now if I don't want to fight it, or I can slide it up out of the way. So we're going to leave it like that. But before all this goes together, I'm going to have to heat this up and slide it on, hopefully. If not, I got to beat it on. This crank moves pretty easy by beating on it, so I don't really want to beat on it. I'm hoping I can just heat it up and slide it on. Be a lot easier. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop for now on this project. I got to work on the oil pump next, so get some of the stuff I get done right now. So we'll put this whole pump together tomorrow, and we have to set the in play with all the gaskets and do all that. And I'm going to have to shorten up this one gear here to match the other one. One's 3/10 thicker than the other, so I got to sand that down to make it fit. So for now, I'm just going to let this thing sit all night and dry, and we'll hit this hard tomorrow. Alright, that's it for now on this one.